Hey everybody, we're going to start the show a little bit differently today because it's been a very traumatic and sad week here in Adelaide for Josh and everybody that has known his wife Carol, who unexpectedly and suddenly passed away this week. So we want to honour this show to her because she has been an amazing supporter and part of a huge inspiration behind Fat Chef Slim and the journey that Josh has been on. Every time, since I've known Josh, he always talks about Carol. It's like every time we have conversations, he's always talking about her. She was behind the scenes when we were filming. She was always there. She's such a beautiful soul, and will be very, very sorely missed. But the show must go on, and she wouldn't expect anything less. And so we are carrying on with the show. But this one we're honouring for Carol. Yeah, and the energy bars, they're called Carol's bars in honour of Carol. So
look, first off, thanks very much for giving me the opportunity, and I really sort of appreciate the opportunity to share this. But Carol, yeah, she did unfortunately die on Monday, and it's a tremendous shock when you don't expect somebody to not be there in the afternoon when you get home from work. And going through all that process, there's been a lot of things that occurred, but the one thing we do know is that she was a great bastion for Cycle Serafina, and particularly, obviously, Fat Chef Slim. And she was that for Fat Chef Slim on the grounds that she could see what sort of a positive effect it was. It was having on her husband, and that the sadness of that is that she could always see that through this it was also helping other people. That we've managed to now get a little harem, I suppose. I don't know, of 20, 30 people behind us who are regularly communicating, and they're getting better results. You know, we've got one guy riding 200 kilometres a week. We've got another guy feeling better about his confidence. We've got another bloke who's now going out with a girl for the first time in 3 years because he had no flaming confidence. Yeah. It's good stuff. But the one thing that unfortunately I wasn't able to share with her was I got my results back after 3 months. So this is the first 3-month period with diabetes, and out of that, I can give you an idea. A little while ago, my cholesterol was out of control. It's now perfect. My blood pressure was out of control. It's now perfect. I've lost 6 inches around my waist, which is really annoying because it's costing me a shitload of money because I have to go buy a load of new pants. And I've now moved in tops down 2 sizes in tops. So I've lost 8 kilos, 6 inches around my waist. And my bloods this time last year was 15.7, which is actually off the charts, and it was beginning to damage my kidneys and my liver, and it's now 6.1, which is absolutely perfect. It's probably better than your blood sugar, you know, because I don't drink or anything anymore. However, we do have a bottle of Cloudy
Speaking
Bay
of
here.
drinking,
but my wife was the stroke coordinator at the Royal Adelaide stroke nurse at the Royal Adelaide Hospital, and she dealt with death on a daily basis. And out of that, she liked a little drinky at the end of the day, and it was really important. And New Zealand Sauvignon was the thing that she was into. So we're going to have a little drink in a minute. But the other thing I want to say is that in this occurring, I've realised that diabetes is a bit like a dog. It's not just for Christmas, and it's going to be with me for the rest of my life. So therefore I need to nurture and care for it and make sure that it's in good shape, otherwise it'll bite me on the arse. A bit like a dog, if you don't look after them, they're going to bite you. So I need to feed it with what it wants and make sure that it's well watered and everything else, and then I'll be here for the next 20 years to look after my children, which is what I have to do for my wife. So in doing that, I believe you don't drink.
I don't drink, no, but
guess what? I haven't had a drink for 4 months, and tonight I'm going to have a drink. So a bottle of Cloudy Bay Sauvignon, which was her favourite, is going to be there, and I hope that you cheer me and we can move on. Is that enough?
That's
Or do you
plenty. No, that's plenty.
Right, well, a couple of things out of this. We're going to have a little drink here, and the one thing about grief is that it really hits you like a bloody tsunami of emotions, and I can go from tears and everything all the way through to actually being practical again and being normal and trying to deal with it. So I'm back, and that's cool, and it may be weird to some people, but to Carol, having a glass at the end of a day, having had to deal with families who've had 3 or 4 deaths on a daily basis, I never begrudged her a glass of wine at the end of the day. I thought it was a bloody good thing. And this will be going on her coffin in about 4 or 5 days, because it's the most appropriate thing to put on her coffin. And we'll make sure that we honour her and that I give her the sending off that she needs. So thanks again. Cheers
for Carol.
To Carol. And we look forward to more Fat Chef Slim and more wins. Cheers.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Fat Chef Slim. Hey.
G'day, how are you?
I'm well, how are you today?
Very well, thank you.
Hey, now the other day, and before we get into the food things, I was talking to you about saddles and the saddle that you use.
Correct. So the other day we were out having a ride, and you just happened to notice that my saddle was incredibly wide, which goes with my lovely frame. Basically, when I got this bike, I bought this BMC bike from my flat bar bike, and got on it and everything was happy, and after a day I started to get a bad back. And I was starting to think, God, I've just spent $7,000 on a bike and I can't ride it because I'm going to have this terrible bad back and that's going to be it. So I went back to the bike shop and I said, what's going on? Terrible bad back, so on and so forth. And the guy said, have you considered your saddle? And I said, what do you mean? Because I didn't know that you could get different sorts of saddles to go with the bike. And he said, well, you're a big unit and chances are that you're not giving your pelvis enough support. So I said, oh, okay, fair enough. He said, there's this company called SQ Labs out of Germany that do specific saddles for varying types of people, be they big, small, wide, indifferent, it's all there. So he suggested one of their saddles. They're as hard as the hobs of hell, so there's no padding on them.
There's no padding?
No padding whatsoever. No, they're as hard. But guess what? No bad back.
No bad back.
Yeah, the bad back went away. So I actually rode that for a couple of years. I had a little bit of softening to it now, but I still get that support for my pelvis. It makes a world of difference. I'm able to go and ride as much as I like, be it either a 10-kilometre ride or a 100-kilometre ride, and no bad back. So happy as Larry.
Amazing, because I've had a lot of people ask about saddles and what's the best saddle, especially if they're overweight, or even as a female, like I ride with a Mimic, can't remember exactly what brand, right. But it's just, it's the best kind. So having the right saddle, and especially obviously if you...
It is amazing, like bike fit, I'd never really given it a lot of thought and just figured, well, there's your bike, it's to a certain height and away you go and happy days. But no, you wind up getting the right things and the right saddles and the right shoes and so on and so forth. It makes a world of difference.
Now to the food.
Okie doke. So today we're actually going to do energy bars. You know, everybody sort of takes little energy bars or their purees and things like that in the back of their pockets, and they tend to go and buy them. And it's really quite interesting because I went and actually looked at the label the other day. And I went into the shop and it was loaded full of sugar, loaded full of carbs, loaded full of E numbers, loaded full of all sorts of stuff, and it was $7 a pop. And I was sitting there thinking, you know, biking's a pretty expensive sport as it is. Once you've got the outlay for that and your clothes and everything else, the last thing you need is more money going out the door. However, okay, convenience, it's there for you if you want it. So I'm going to make an energy bar today that is hopefully a little bit diabetic friendly. So, you know, you get lots of energy bars that can have chocolate in them, they can have marshmallows in them, they can have an abundance of fruit, but that actually doesn't suit me. Because unfortunately, being a diabetic, you're sort of at war with your body. It's a bit of an unusual thing. You've constantly got to watch your food, you've got to watch booze, you've got to exercise. It's when you exercise is really important as well. I'm actually going to start something probably this week as an addition to what we're doing with cycling, where after I eat dinner, I'm going to go for a 20-minute walk around the block. Again, it's to regulate blood sugar because, hey, you sit down, you eat dinner, and whoopee, up goes your blood sugar. You might whack the insulin in, that's happy, or take your drugs, things like that, but anything you can do to help is an advantage. So exercise is a major bonus, not only from doing the exercise, but also the timing of the exercise is important. So this, again, is part of concentrating on wellness rather than illness. There's so many things that can happen to diabetics, we try to avoid them. You can have heart disease, you can have liver disease, you can have kidney disease, you can have blood issues, you can have eye issues, you can have feet issues, you can get neuropathy. The list is endless. It's an amazing smorgasbord of disease,
You must really,
unless you watch what you're doing.
you're wired to have a good understanding of your body, because if you don't,
You are. And like I said, it took a long time for me to get my head around it, but now it's like I'm heading towards a degree. It's like, you got to go and get the knowledge and apply it as well. You know, no point learning about it all and not applying it. It's applying, let's lose the weight, let's get rid of it and make sure that everything's in a happy space. The other thing with exercise though, getting back to the energy bars, is that it has to be balanced. I can get up in the morning, my bloods could be say 7 or 8, I go for an 80 or a 90 kilometre ride and they drop to 3 or 4. Now that's no good either because then you're starting heading to hypo territory and that's no good. So an energy bar gives you that little lift as you need as you're getting along the way. So it's important to do these things. So I've got a couple here to show you. One that takes a little bit to get together and then another real easy one for the people who want to cheat. Okay.
quick and easy. All right.
Okay.
Let's get into it.
Okay, let's do it. So first off, I want to start with a really easy energy bar. This one's actually a cheat's way of doing it, okay? So the next one we're going to do, I'm going to get all the ingredients together and we're going to do it in a pan. It's going to be fantastic. But this one's going to be really easy. Go to your shop and buy a packet of muesli. Yeah, folks, it's that simple. You go there, you buy muesli, it can be appropriate to you. So if you're diabetic, get the one without the fruit. For anybody else, knock yourself out. Have the dried fruit, have whatever you want. At that point, this is what it looks like. We've got lovely, beautiful muesli. This one's got no sultanas or anything in it. It's just nuts and rolled oats. And we're going to whack that into a pan and we're going to warm it up. In there, we're going to put some chopped dates, which I'm also going to warm up. And we're going to mix that with a little bit of peanut butter, mix it all together and set it in the fridge. Now from setting it in the fridge, we're going to use a really funky ingredient, one of the new superfoods, coconut oil. Hang on though, coconut oil ain't no superfood and it's been around since Jesus was a boy. Yep, the old cornflakes cups that you used to have at a kid were mixed with kofa. Well guess what, kofa's coconut oil. That's right. The stuff you buy from the supermarket, kofa, is fantastic and has been used by our grandmothers and our mothers and us alike. So we're going to mix a little bit of that into it and that's going to help the setting agent for that one. We want to toast this off and really bring the flavours out in it. So we're just going into a dry pan with a bit of heat on it and we'll just release some of those essential flavours that are there in the oats and the nuts. While we're doing that, we will stick our dates with a spoonful of peanut butter, and we'll make a mash. And that mash will be the thing that helps bind it together with the kofa. So there's some fun things going on. That's the only element of sweetness going into the dish is the dates. Just to help it out, it's just a splash of water. And then I'll form the mash or the binder. Now I'm going to go back over and cut myself a little bit of kofa to go into that. Let that melt down as well. So just toasted it for about 5 minutes just to release some of those lovely flavours that are in it. And now I'm going to mix the mash or the binding ingredients through it, which again, about a half dozen dates, a good heap spoonful of lovely crunchy peanut butter, and about 50 grams of kofa. Mix that all together. And then that'll go into a container. We'll press it and we'll put it into the fridge for about 2 hours. And that'll be it. Now I get to say, here's one I made earlier. Here we go. Do you want to come and taste this, Serafina? Oh, I didn't think it was going to take. Didn't think it was going to take too much to get you around here. Now, that is a Cheats Muesli Energy Bar.
This is awesome, right? You could wrap some Glad wrap around that and put that in your pocket when you're riding.
Go on. I'll go your halves. Cheers.
Yum.
Not bad, eh?
That is so good.
And the only sweetness in that is from the dates.
So it's like, it's soft, but it's crunchy at the same time. It's really yummy. Like it's just, this could easily have just come out of a packet that that has all the. This is really good.
And you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, let's say 7 energy bars. So say 7 by, let's go cheap. Let's go 7 by 5 is $35. And I reckon that cost me under $15 to produce. So it's $20 in your pocket. You got your energy bars, put them in an airtight container and keep them in your fridge. Happy days. Even the kids love that.
Oh my goodness, guys. These are so, so yummy. Like this is so simple, easy, delicious. There's this sweetness to it, but there's crunchy softness, and it's real hearty, but yummy. Like it's so yummy. And
how cool is that? It's like just simply out of a packet of muesli. So once again, look at the labels, look at what's in the muesli, make sure it's appropriate to you, because that is, to me, bar the dates, which are the only thing that I've probably got to be a little bit more interested in being a diabetic, because you know, that boom of sugar. But if I'm out on a ride, fantastic. I get my little hit and I'm away. Yeah, and there's no numbers in that. No numbers at all. There's no science, it's actual food. Yeah. And so that's the cheats version? That's cheats version. Now for the real one, yeah? Okay, all right.